Shabangu, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another installment of Business Unearthed, where we talk all things business, all things women, all things business women. I'm very excited. I think you know that already. I've mentioned it quite a number of times. We are in Maun. Maun, Momojing, and I'm having the time of my life. I'm surrounded by really incredible people, just like this lady next to me, and we're going to be learning so much more about this space called The Space, and she's hosting me today at The Space, and you'll get to hear more about it. But for now, let her introduce herself. Hi lady, how are you?
I'm good, and you? Hi guys, my name is Atang Sharon Arnold. I am the founder and managing director of the Space Botswana. So the Space Botswana is actually a company called Lipstick and Dust, and Lipstick and Dust does multimedia production and filming. But today we're here on the space and for the space. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us in this beautiful space. It's a very beautiful place. I loved it. I couldn't wait to see it. When I saw the pictures and you said, yeah, sure, let's do it at my place, at the space, I was like, yeah, this is absolutely wonderful. So please do give it a visit when you are in Maun, but we'll talk a tad bit more about that. So you can go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself. Who are you? Guy. What's going on?
Yeah, no, guys, so Nahela Tota, I've always been an artist from a younger age. I think I get it both from like my parents.
Okay.
My dad used to have like a camera back then, and he's an engineer by profession, and my mom is like a sales assistant, but she likes like decorating like the house interior and all that stuff. And I picked that up actually when I went to university, that I actually get this from both my parents. And I had been like in high school where I had a really amazing teacher, Mr. Chanda. Shout out to him, because I think if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have I guess worked hard and researched more about like my purpose and my journey in art. So he gave me the reason to actually concentrate on it, because he saw so much more potential on me. And even from the final IGCSE project that I was doing something so completely from like my classmates. So I chose abstract art, and abstract is about emotions and feelings and a lot of like mental, just a lot of like mental exercise and a lot of expression. And the main colors that I used on that painting was blue, and it was basically like water, earth, fire, and they're all elements of life. So yeah, that was a very striking painting. And then when I went to university, I studied creative multimedia for 3 years at Queen. While I was there, I was exhibiting as well, but when I was there, one thing that struck me was there was only one art gallery, which was in CBD. And I went there. It was Sophie Lalonde's gallery at that time. I got into that art gallery and I saw these amazing artworks. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Why do we not have many places like this in Botswana?
Yeah.
You know? Like, and it was a thing of not just why do we not have many places like this, it's like, where are the people, like where are like-minded people like me? Where can I connect and network and find opportunities to actually venture my career into art? And I had this notebook in high school. I still have it now. I wrote down all my dreams and all the things that I wanted to do. The first country that I wanted to go to would be England, London, which I did. And I'd like to own an art gallery, you know.
Oh wow, so how long ago was this?
It was like when, 2011.
Wow.
Yeah, 2011,
so like
when I finished high school.
12 years now.
Yeah, 12 years
ago.
now.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because it's like a lot of manifestation when I look at that book, but obviously there's been quite a number of challenges just having to get where I am. And I'm very grateful to God for that, because if it weren't for those challenges and those experiences, I wouldn't have grown internally and just physically as a human being or as a soul. So yes,
I love that. That's absolutely beautiful, and I like how you're talking about writing things down. You know, even we know, Habakkuk chapter 2 talks about writing down the vision and making it plain. And I'm sure when you're writing it down, you're just writing probably and, dreaming, which is great, but you see the power of writing and how it causes manifestation to come, even when you're sometimes not aware of it. How does it make you feel seeing the manifestation of some of the things that you know, you wrote, maybe even not even aware really of the power of what you were doing.
I mean, it's surreal. I don't think I'll ever get used to it, you know, to be honest.
Yeah.
You write things down, they happen, and you're like, okay, it's happening. Even though they've happened, there's a lot more that you still need to do in order to maintain them, to actually, like, still be there.
That's powerful.
So it's like, as much as it's all here, it's not only just for me, to be honest. It's for the people out there, the community, the artists, me trying to educate my countrymen and women on the significance of how visual arts per se can make a massive economic change to the landscape.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's mostly about guys, there's more to than just money in art or anything. It's storytelling.
Yes.
It's me basically sharing stories and creating stories and leaving something behind, which all comes back to purpose. You know, it's me having to fulfill my purpose in this world and leaving something for the future generation to work on. Yeah.
Okay. And so tell me a bit more now about the space, you know, its genesis. When did it start? What was going through your mind at the time? What were you trying to do, you know, and what were you trying to introduce, even in Maun? And I don't know if you have, you know, long-term plans about being in different parts of Botswana as well.
Yeah, so the space started in 2019, since it had been like a long dream of mine. So when I was on internship, I was saving. Like every time we'd go on these filming trips to Rwanda, Ethiopia, the money that I was making for filmmaking, I'd save it in. And it's from my savings that I was able enough like to buy this container, which I nearly got scammed actually while I was looking to purchase one. And something just told me, no, just wait, you know. It's like my instinct was like, no. That morning I was supposed to deposit the money to, and then funny enough, I called my cousin who was in Pretoria. I'm like, please check this number.
You're buying it outside of the country?
Yes, I wanted to buy it outside, but I managed to get it in Maun. I called my cousin, please check the number. She's like, hey, don't you dare. But to this camera, because even their tone and accents, I don't want to mention names or where they're from, but yeah, no, I was just like, no. So we built this in 2019. The container came. It was in such a state. If you go on Instagram or Facebook, you'll definitely see our journey. Me painting it, you know, cleaning it all up. And I was pregnant with I actually gave birth to my firstborn by that time, and he was a year old. You know, it's literally, the space is literally hard work, sweat, and pain. Like when somebody tells you, I know what they mean, you know, because I even had blisters on my arm. And because 2019 was a very unexpected year for a lot of people. And I'm getting really emotional talking about it because it's like, man, the space is my baby as well. It's like, just to have it here is a dream come true.
Now you're getting me all teary-eyed.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It has taught me so much, Lena, as a business person or just as a mother. So you find out that in life it's not mostly about the business, or actually it's an internal thing, you know. Every year you go through challenges and experiences, but it's like, no man, something must give, and there's a lesson out of all of these things that are happening. But the space is for creatives, artists, collaborations. We do art residencies here. We've had a couple of international artists since 2019. I think one of our best years was last year in 2022, because now we're in 2023.
Lovely. I know, right? It's like on the 5th day, is it?
I know.
Wild.
So we've had amazing exhibitions here and a great number of sales, and we're hoping to have more international artists and local artists collaborating. We even have a creatives program here called the Space Creatives.
Beautiful.
Where I sponsor out of school youth with art materials and mentorship. So what they just need to do, they just need to come here and share with me their ideas and passions, and all I do is mentor them and lead them to like the opportunities and paths that I know they can work with. And we have like an art library and Wi-Fi here, obviously when they're on Wi-Fi, I monitor them consistently because it's important for them to focus. As much as it's a safe space, they need to actually be committed.
Be doing what they said, to do what they said they want to do.
Yes, it's about commitment. So that's the space.
I love that. And I guess we'll just piggyback off of what you're saying, because I've met quite a number of people who have birthed their businesses 2019, right in the thick of COVID, 2019, 2020. And of course, we had no idea what was about to hit the world, and it did, and you stuck through. What was that experience like, and what are some of the lessons you believe you've learned through that?
I will always say this, and I'll stick to it. The lesson is patience. It's very painful. Patience and faith.
Yeah.
It's like, it's painful in terms of patience when you're an impatient person like me, but it's like when you're literally put in there, like sit and wait. Like when you tell a 5-year-old to sit and wait or a 3-year-old to sit and wait, how they get so restless and they're like, no, but you can't tell me to sit and wait. I have to go play. I have to go do this. But sometimes it's the patience for me. Like you don't just become a success overnight.
True.
You have to build layers and skin, and
you're in it for the long run.
You're in it for the long run.
It's not just a easy come and then it becomes an easy go type of thing as well.
And it's even from the faith part. It's like. Because right now I'm working alone, it's difficult because I have to do everything myself, from admin to social media.
You are
to
CEO,
looking for the artists,
chief everything officer. That's what you
gallerist.
are.
It's a lot of work. And coming from Botswana, being in Botswana, it's so difficult to specialize here because we have to do everything ourselves. Like, for example, if you're the musician, you have to play the guitar, you have to write your own songs, you have to do this, you have to... Everything you literally have to do for yourself.
Yeah.
And then in terms of looking for a team, that's another story for another day. Okay?
We need to talk about it because, you know what? The reason I'm saying this is because, I'm in business as well. And I've only gone into business full time because I've dabbled in business. And it's very different from when you are doing it full time. And there are certain things that you learn, and team building being one of them. And I feel like this is a conversation we need to have because people have had experiences. You don't have to go into too much detail, but what has that experience been like for you trying to build a team?
Wow. I should say I still am trying that. The biggest thing is having to actually look or find a person or somebody who's passionate and willing to learn. The thing is, because of our economic status at the moment, it's so difficult to be able enough to just live. We survive.
Yeah.
It's a hand to mouth situation. And just finding a team, it's like even the people that you're looking for, they are so far away. If they're not far away, they'll be looking for a salary that is even beyond what you make in a month. So that's the difficulty at the moment for me at this space. We're not making enough income to be able enough to hire a team. Even if I did a call out for like an internship, which is an unpaid internship, that person is just going to look at it as if like, oh, I'm not getting paid. They're not looking at it in another way of, this is an experience that I will never get anywhere else. And because this is like a fest for many and a fest for me and a fest for them, art, and me being the first female in Botswana to have like an art gallery in Botswana.
Wow, well done.
It's like, what am I gonna gain? But I wish they could not look at it that way. It's like, we're in this together, we're building this story together. You have a chapter in that book, or you have a story, chapter story. You are there for a reason. So it's very difficult at the moment, but hopefully this year I'll have a team or just something, or some assistant or someone.
You will. You will. I really trust that you will. And I love the fact that, and that's something I'm constantly learning as well, just really being in it for the long run, because it's not about just coming and blowing up and making millions, and it just goes to your head and you don't appreciate the process, you don't appreciate the journey. I think there's just something to be said about being in it and sticking with it, and it really becomes your baby. And it's beautiful that it's something that you're passionate about as well, that you can't just get up and say, you know what, I'm leaving everything.
Yeah.
And you also talked about something very important, which, at Diamond and Earth, we talk about catering to the whole businesswoman, and considering the fact that as women, we show up fully as we are. We're mothers, we're wives, we're partners, we are members of the community, we're family members, we're all of these different things, and yet the world just wants us to only come and show up as this businesswoman, cutthroat, and as though you don't have all of these other responsibilities. What has that experience been like for you? And I'll just, if you'll allow me, there's a bit that we talked about even off camera, just talking about how you work with your children, and what are you trying to do with all of that?
Well, one thing about me is I'm very fearless in my path. I'm not afraid to literally take my kids anywhere, be it meeting or training. I mean, I have a son and a daughter. My son is 4 years old. My daughter is 2 years old. I remember going into meetings and workshops and trainings, and I'm doing all this with carrying either one or them or even both. And it's just like, I always pray and ask God for strength and wisdom, which He has given me. It's like, if it went for that, I don't know where I would have gotten my strength from.
Yeah.
It's my spirituality, my faith that actually keeps me grounded and helps me to be centered, to be able enough to wear all these hats of being a mother and a friend and a sister and a wife and an entrepreneur. It always centers back to just God. It always centers back to Him, because I feel like without Him, I'm no one. Yeah, without Him I can't do many things. And it's a thing of always having to go back and meditate and find yourself, and just there are seasons for everything. There are seasons where you'll be like in such a depressed state, and then tomorrow you're just like, I'm so happy. Life is like that. Life is a roller coaster. And as soon as you notice and actually realize, and you're conscious enough to say this, okay, fine, I'm in this state, I will not fear, and I will not overstress or overthink, because this is beyond my control.
Yeah.
It all goes back to patience as well, and just having the faith.
Yeah.
So that's it for me.
I love that. And what would you say, is it something that you're intentionally doing, taking your children with you to your work, for people to experience the fullness of who you are, and even maybe what you're imparting within them as well?
Well, for me, it's because, one, I don't have a helper, and I cannot afford to have a helper, because I'm doing all these things. And if I close the gallery, I go for trainings, I leave my kids behind, my husband is busy or he's just unavailable to do other things, I just have to take them with. And because from a very young age, they've been through workshops and trainings, kids are kids.
Yeah.
When they're naughty and all that stuff, but when we get to workshops and trainings, they've actually learned to be very calm, because they can see that, okay, fine, mommy is trying to do something so seriously. So it even builds a certain psychology and a certain discipline for them. Okay, I'm in a certain environment, let me just calm down, because I can lose it. We lose it all the time with kids. I tell you, all the time. But it's going with them and showing them, what, you don't always, mommy doesn't always have to be super serious. They know mommy can play, daddy can play with them. But there's a time to be like, okay, no, child, you really need to bear with me here. So as much as they're children, I try to treat them as like their own humans who have their own rights.
Teaching them real life skills.
Yeah, teaching them real life skills, and to meet and see different people, because kids are good, like they're really good with assessing people and assessing souls. And so if I know that my child is not feeling comfortable around you, I won't even like go into like conversation or anything like that. So I just take them everywhere.
That's beautiful.
If they're not at school, I just take them everywhere with me. It's hectic.
I can imagine. It's like you're working 3 or 4 full-time jobs, because you're doing your artwork, you're doing with the children. And there's you as well.
It is. Kids are a full-time job, and hopefully this year, because they'll both be going to crash,
Okay.
I'll be able
You'll
enough.
have a bit of a break.
Yeah, I'll be able enough to do my artwork. I haven't done that in like 5 years, you know, and I have put that aside because I've been I'm managing all these artists, and I'm trying to find these artists, and yeah, no, my art needs to come back to life. Basically.
Yeah. It will be a good year. I really do have a lot of hope for 2023. And you know, you mentioned being the first as a female to own a gallery. Is that right?
A private gallery, yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Congratulations. That's
Thank
a big
you.
deal. You are making history, girl, and you know, your children are watching, you know, because they say some of these things are best caught, you know, rather than taught. And so in terms of your vision, because clearly you are a woman with a very big vision who is, as you said, you're fearless in your journey and you're venturing into uncharted territories. You're a pioneer. And listen, being from Maun, when you live in Maun, you have to have the heart of a pioneer, because there's so many things that have never been done before. But if you're gonna say, I'm just gonna, you know, have some grit and do it, it really takes a lot. So really kudos to that. It's worth noting, you know. So when you look at this landscape, being in the art industry, in the creative industry, what is the contribution that you want to make, you know, as an individual, as well as through the work that you're doing through the space? What contribution overall would you like to see yourself making?
Okay. I'd like to add in addition, I'm actually from Kanye.
Yes. Okay.
I'm from
yes.
Kanye,
Girl, when you are in Maun, we claim you.
I've seen that, but yeah, my home village is in Kanye, and Maun is now like my home because I've been here for 7 years now.
Okay.
And it was like the best place to actually have the art gallery, because Maun is a safari town. It's a tourist destination, and a lot of people who come here have a lot of like different mindsets and open mind. So hence why Maun was the perfect place, and the Okavango Delta, of course. And in terms of me being what I'm contributing towards the art landscape in the country, I'm contributing knowledge. I'm giving myself, you know. I'm sharing every piece of me that I can to my community, my countrymen and women, you know. I'm trying to educate and show them that you guys don't always have to do it alone.
Collaboration.
You do not have
that.
to do it alone. Trust me.
Come on.
So working alone, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that, and it's hard to even be successful by working alone. So yeah, I'm just contributing myself and my knowledge and just giving.
Your being.
Yes, and my
Completely
being.
Just your being. Yeah. And that is, you know, really that's all that we can ask for, you know, because again, I usually say, I mean, the money is great. We need money for things to work. But when you give of yourself, that's a different thing altogether. You know, you can always make money, lose money, and all of that. But when you give of yourself, that is an investment that goes into eternity.
Selflessness,
Yeah,
you say.
come on. I love that. I love that. And I love that you are showing the Boto essence that you mentioned. You know, you talk about Boto, and we are, you know, I am because you are, and all of that. And it's portrayed even through the work that you're doing, and giving other people an opportunity and a platform, and doing something that has never been done before at a personal cost. And the cost is so many different ways. You know, are there anything, you know, is there anything that stands out for you maybe that you'd like to mention in terms of, you know, any maybe recognition, any highlights, anything that, you know, that the space has achieved over now going into 4 years? Girl, you're about to hit the 5-year mark.
I know, right?
You're almost there.
That's where we're aiming, and even further. So the space has close to 13 artists at the moment who are exhibiting. So we normally do like a rotation every month or so, unless like a different artist from overseas or regional in Africa comes. And yes, and then in terms of the space, I'd really like, my vision for the space is beyond me, even beyond my dreams. It's basically to have the space out there in Europe, you know. I'd like to have the space in London. I'd like to have the space in New York, you know. I'd like to have this space around to exhibit and showcase African artwork and African artists, because that's where my contribution comes from. Now, when we're saying, what are you contributing? It's giving other visual artists from Africa a platform to showcase their works. You know, we can't always have the Pablo Picassos who are late. You know, we need to have the artists of now who are living and actually producing for the now, you know, and for the later. So it's one of those to have the space out there.
Yeah, and I've seen that you exhibit some of your work as well. So you do paint. Why are you laughing? You do paint. Is there, you know, do you do other art pieces, artworks as well, other than painting? Because you have them all around, but I don't suppose that this is all of your work. It's
No.
as well,
it's
right?
other people's work. We even have crafts, upcycled stuff.
Beautiful.
So those are like some of the artists that we have here.
Okay.
But I don't like talking too much about my art because I want to focus on other people.
Girl, no, listen.
My
We're not
art
doing
will
that
come.
2023. We're not doing that. But you do have some of your pieces
I
up,
do,
right? Yeah,
I do.
this is your piece, right?
I do. I've actually.
This is your piece.
Yes,
right?
I've actually, because you're talking about awards, right? And just
Yes.
mentions of the space and accreditations. I've actually done Tulipamwe in 2018, where international artists were put in one resort to just create.
Beautiful.
And then the space has an accreditation from the British Council, where we did a course for 6 months, physically for 3 days and online for the rest of the month. And it was called Creative Hubs, Connect Hubs.
Okay.
And then we've had a couple of radio interviews, TV interviews, and then just last year, November, I finished, I graduated at Sotheby's. Sotheby's is one of the biggest auctioneers in the world. There's Sotheby's
beautiful.
and Christie's. So I did a course there called Running a Contemporary Art Gallery, and I am very proud of myself, guys.
I'm proud of you too,
You know?
girl. Diamond Emerald is proud of you.
Because the amount of work you just have to put in, even in terms of having to do all these things and studying is another thing. So hopefully in the future I'll be doing my MA there. I'm saying this because I'm manifesting.
Come on. I mean, all of these other things have been manifested as well.
Yeah, so I'd really like to further my studies and do my MA there physically.
Okay.
And that would be really, really great.
Yeah. Please tell us when you have, and we talk about the journey and what it's been like. And
Oh yes, now I'm still looking for sponsorships because it's an arm and a leg and a liver and a heart.
It's so
Just
much.
to enroll there, it's so much.
Yeah, and I would like to mention actually before I forget that there's coffees from here at the space, so you can come and people can come and sit.
Yeah, no, we
do their
have
work.
we serve espresso here and teas and ice and juice.
water. It's really good coffee.
Wi-Fi, a library full of artworks. We sell art supplies as well. And then, as I said, we do we host trainings, workshops, just a lot of things that one can possibly think of in a very creative perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. It really is the space, for someone to just, and I love how it's just so strategically located just right by the road, which we'll talk about in a minute. But right now, as we get ready to close up, having been in the space that you're in, both from passion as well as business, the business side of it, I know that when you're an artist, there's something that just gnaws at you. It just won't let you go. You can go do your technical stuff and whatnot, but it calls you. And I know that there are people maybe who'd like to venture into the same space. And I know that there's so much to be done as well in terms of the arts and the creative industry in Botswana. What would you say to someone who wants to get into a similar space, a similar industry? What are some of the things that they need to be thinking about? Because I really believe in mental preparation, and I also believe in looking to people who have gone before us. For you might think, oh, it's just been a couple of years, but you have seen the nitty-gritties of it. What would you say to someone who has this passion and they really just want to do something with their art?
So for me, it was, as much as I was very passionate about it, having to actually put it into action in life is a completely different story. You are never prepared for that, to be honest. You can never be prepared enough for that. You just have to take it step by step, research sketch around, ask about, play around, don't be scared. In terms of having to action, like you're never really prepared for getting everything into action. Like every step you try to take, there'll be like something blocking you, a certain thing blocking you. So it's like, yo, just keep at it. Yeah. And one thing I wanted to tell you about, so the SPACE stands for Sustainable Practical Art Connecting Everyone Environmentally.
Wow. Please say that again. I did not know that. That is beautiful. I don't know. Please say that again.
It's Sustainable Practical Art Connecting Everyone Environmentally.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's what the SPACE is.
I love it.
And as you can see, it's very earthly around here.
Yeah. And I love that because, that's where the world is going, and that's how we should be thinking. Sustainability and, being, conservationist. Is that
conservationist,
the word?
yes.
Being conservationist and, practicing responsible art. And so that's really brilliant. I love it. I'm excited for what 2023 and beyond has in store for you. I don't know if you have any parting words, just even talking about when your opening times, where you're located, how people can get in touch with you, your platforms, etc.
So our social media platforms, on Instagram it's at the Space Botswana, or the Space BW on Twitter, and Facebook is the Space Botswana, full words. And then our opening times would be from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. during weekdays, and then weekends we don't open on Sunday, but Saturdays we are open from 9 till 1 o'clock. And then you can just email us or DM us at thespacebotswana@gmail.com. Yes, and then LinkedIn is Atang Sharon Arnold. Yeah, and that's basically. Oh, and the website, thespacebotswana.com. And then this year we're actually working on our website, so hopefully you guys will get an invite when we actually launch it.
Lovely.
So yeah, we're still working on that.
Okay, all right. And you didn't mention where the space actually is, physical location.
Oh, I said the space is in Matlapana, Maun to be precise, 500 meters from the circle on your way to Shorobe. So yes, those are our locations, and then we're on WhatsApp as well. So if you actually do need the location, you can just pin drop us, or you can find us on Google Maps. We are there as well. On TripAdvisor, we're there as well. So yeah, we're not really difficult to find.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your sincerity and your honesty. I think that's the thing that really resonates the most with me. It's not super polished, which I love that, the honesty. Because again, like I said, as Diamond on Earth, we're really just trying to show people the real life experiences of business and entrepreneurs. There are some challenges, but it's not always the challenges that we're looking at. So thank you so much for yet again giving of yourself, and thank you so much for this delicious coffee.
Yes.
Anybody who knows me knows I'm a girl, and with her coffee. But yeah, anyway, so thank you so much. And I believe that you'll have a lot of visitors. I know that we have so many events, so many activities that happen here in Maun, and my desire is just for people to pop in, to come and see what's happening, take photos, take videos, buy the books, buy the paintings, inquire, and just also see how the space can become their space as well.
Yeah,
right?
and art is an investment at the end of the day. You're not
It
just
really
buying a
is.
piece of artwork.
Yeah.
You are actually investing in like your own money. Yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us on today's installment of Business Unearthed. I really trust and hope and believe that you learned quite a number of things and really got to appreciate the journey, because we see all these businesses, we see all these companies, and we think that they just came into being, but being able to appreciate the journey behind it and seeing the founders behind them, that is such a huge honor. And so that's what we aim to bring you right here at Business Unearthed. And I am your host for today, Nompendulo Shabangu. Please do follow, give us a, just hit that like button if you actually liked it, to help us with the algorithm. Hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, so that you can always be alerted whenever we do put up something new. And also do comment, what was your greatest highlight? Do you have any questions, in terms of art, the space, and so on and so forth? Please follow them on their social media platform, and we'll see you again next time.
Peace.